Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you very much for watching my content. Hopefully I got a good microphone check. Just came back from a listing, and I want to share with you guys and gals, my people, the prospecting methods for the next generation, for the next era. First of all, if you guys want more of my free coaching, I'm free. It's free. My coaching is free. Go to YouTube and iTunes. But if you want to take it to the next level, then I charge money. But you're only buying my time away from selling real estate because I'm an active real estate agent. So let's talk about what's important: prospecting and marketing. The next generation of marketing and lead generation, and what it's going to take to survive and thrive in a disruption, in this upcoming change for the better. I'm excited. I've got predictions and I've got ideas, but I'm excited that I think 99% of the real estate agents on the planet will be gone in the next 10 years. I say 5, but just so I don't sound like a crazy person, 10 years. And what this is going to do is it's going to afford opportunities. Let me see, I've got a wristband that had the. No, it's not my wristband. I have a wristband that says, "In adversity, there's opportunity." So, what are the opportunities in a changing market where 99% of the agents disappear? Well, look at it this way. From what I saw, there's about 15,000 McDonald's and about 15,000 Starbucks. So that's about 30,000. And then throw in Jack in the Box and Kentucky Fried Chicken, Del Tacos. So if you live in the United States, you take all of the big 5 food chains and throw in Starbucks. Say there's 100,000. So tell me, do you have a problem with there being a real estate agent for every Starbucks, Taco Bell, Del Taco, Carl's Jr., Jack in the Box in your town? I think that's more than enough. There's maybe 200 transactions in my town. I think 10 agents could handle that. You see my other prediction besides the change in agents, because right now I hear there's about 1.3 million real estate agents in the world. If 99% of them disappeared, that still leaves us with over 100,000 agents. That's the equivalent of every fast food chain out there. So what does that mean? That means there's still going to be plenty of business. The one thing that will be more threatening will be our commissions. Let's say right now it's about 6%. It's probably less than that. But let's say it's 6%. It'll be 3%. 3%, maybe 4%. It'll be 3%. Who knows where the direction of buyer broker is going to be? There'll be a split of some sorts. You know, buyer agency, man. Buyer's agents right now, ooh, are you guys in trouble? You know who's in the biggest trouble? Lenders, the MLS, buyer's agents. You know who's not in trouble? Listing agents. Those of us who know how to market properties and how to present our ability as marketers and salespeople to present a product. The ability for us to market and present a product will be our commodity. And if you learn right now how to find the homeowners who are interested in selling and learn the ability to convince them that you're the best for the job, you'll be all right. Yes, we are faced with heavy competition from the internet. And yes, even if Amazon decided overnight if Amazon jumped in, hell, if Jeff Bezos called me up today and said, Festini, you're my guy. Let's take on real estate. I'll be like, oh man, with that kind of budget, I can get rid of our industry. But you know who I couldn't get rid of? Listing agents. Because there will always be a massive population of individuals. Because look at it right now. Everyone's like, ooh, Amazon and real estate. But how many people are using Amazon? Does everybody use Amazon? No. So everybody's not going to use real estate agents. And we're talking about smaller transactions. I'll go to Amazon to buy glasses. Hell, I'll even go to Amazon to buy milk. But would I give Amazon an automobile purchase? I don't think so. It'd be hard to wrap my head around because I still got to see it, touch it, kick it, and there will be an individual that when I go to the car dealership will clearly be there. And I'm going to guess they're not going to be hourly because when they show up to this car dealership, Amazon cars, Amazon will still have to say, we need salespeople. We need people who know how to sell because there will still be competition. Learning to be a salesperson. Take back that title, man. Woman. Seriously. What is wrong with being a salesperson? There's so many agents out there like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm a consultant. Consultant? I think even the Department of Real Estate removed the word salesperson. I think it's now real estate consultant because everyone's like, I don't want to do sales. I'm not a sales. Because sales always has this smarmy and negative connotation, but whether you know it or not, you're a salesperson. Did you get laid this week? Did you have to use any scripts or dialogues to get that? How about your kids? Did you get them to eat their peas or broccoli or carrots or Brussels sprouts or meatloaf? How'd you do it? Scripts and dialogues. Your sales. To get what you want, you have to vocalize your desire to an individual who may or may not want to give you what you want. So what are you doing? You're selling yourself. When you go anywhere, you are selling yourself. And sales is just leading a consumer to the decision that they are reluctant to have. I don't sell people real estate that aren't prepared to buy. It's very hard. So when we talk about conversion rates, being able to convert when somebody goes on the internet and they see a beautiful house on their banner on the side because they were looking at how to renovate their flooring, and all of a sudden online XYZ Zinger pops up and says, hey, you interested in buying? I'm like, ooh, that's a pretty house. I like their flooring. Want to see more photos? Want to find out open houses? Oh, that house is in my neighborhood. That's curious. Is that the Joneses' house? Click. And when they click, it says, you want more information? Sign up here. Log in. Log in with Facebook. Log in. Remember us? We've been here before. You came in here once before. Just log in. Like you've created a username and password. Now we're all friends still. That's a very, very misrepresented and very strange function in the industry. And I don't know if you noticed, but when you buy an app or get an app, when you want to log in, I even use the words log in. 10 years ago, when you wanted to log in, you had to put in a username and you had to put in a password. Now, when you go in and use a username and password, it's just two options. Create a username and password or log in / sign up. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Log in / sign up with Facebook. You're like, we're lazy, right? So we're like, I can click this button or I can use my fingers on my tiny little phone to just sign up. But when you do that, Facebook is giving the agents who are paying for that ad on Zinger to show up on the other side, and now you think that that's an inquiry, you think that's a lead, when in fact they were just curious about the flooring. Some people are professional house lookers. Hey man, I've got a software right now where I've got about almost 300 people who check their property values once a day. They'll check their horoscope, they'll check the weather, they'll check the stocks, and they'll check their property values. So if they're checking the property values on my website, do you think that it's possible that they're bopping around the internet? They see a sign down the street, what's that for sale? Oh, James Festini's little indicator doesn't show it yet. Let me check on Zinger.com. Oh, there it is. But I had to log in to find out more information. Well, I'm curious. That looks like my ex-wife's house. And you guys think that it's a lead. So we're talking about the marketing and the future of real estate marketing. We're talking about the future. Right now there are 5 methods for marketing in the industry. In our industry. There are 5. There's mail, email, digital advertising, which email is going to fall in line with text messaging and Messenger, Facebook Messenger, right? And then digital advertising in the sense that it's going to be a Facebook ad. These are all passive methods by which there are thousands of ways for you to spend thousands of dollars to get a couple dozen inquiries. People who are curious about the value of their house and maybe thinking about it. I mean, Glenn Ross says, a man don't walk on the lot unless he wants to buy. Well, that's not the case there, Alec Baldwin from downtown, from Mitch and Murray. Believe it or not, a man does walk on the lot because he's curious. People like to do that. It's human nature to want to understand real estate. It's a very strange thing. It's more popular than the horoscopes. So we go into the arena of marketing under those 3 passive methods where you could spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to get people to come to you. And maybe the real estate gods will smile on you and you'll find someone who's interested in selling. But does that mean that you got the listing? 50-50 chance? 90-10? Because now you have to convince this individual you're the better choice when they've probably bounced to 3 or 4 different locations. Can I get an amen? Can I get a thumbs up? You know what I'm talking about? And that's part of the problem right now, is that marketing and the internet has gotten so good at exposing real estate online with cookies and pixels that anyone who's remotely curious about real estate will latch on to them and track them down. So you're using the best technology to track down people who might have a vibration about real estate, not necessarily buying or selling, but more a strange curiosity. So many of them, because again, I've got hundreds of leads that for some weird reason they like looking at houses. It's like Glenn Ross, where he says they just like talking to salespeople, right? When Sheldon the Machine Levine closes the deal, he says they're garbage, right? So what are you going to do about these 3 avenues? You're going to spend money, and I would hurry up and suggest you spend money. Hurry up and spend money. But be very careful. Make sure you know where you're spending these 3 places in the future of marketing, because this is a moving target. Email, open rates, all that stuff. Who knows how many you can open, real clever emails, but remain consistent and get permission. Snail mail, right? Okay, snail mail, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It's about 50 cents now to send an envelope, a stuffed an envelope with a business card, 50 cents a piece. So I would not blanket an area, but I would target. We're going to talk about that in a second. I'm going to target individuals who say yes, or a higher degree of maybe above internet inquiries. And the difference between these three and the other two that I'm going to talk about is the difference in confidence that you got something. You got a live one versus an inquiry, which all of these are for sure going to be inquiries because they're inbound. They're not outbound. You're spending money to go out to the universe for them to come in. But even with mailers, if you're marketing or mailing, if you're farming, when it becomes inbound, then of course it's a lead. But how much of this really converts from farming? When you go out and farm, it's expensive and you have to remain consistent. So farming absolutely works. But if you're going to do it, you're going to have to plant seeds in that farm 20 times before it happens, 20 months, 2 years. Anyone who farms will tell you, maybe you get lucky. Maybe the gods of real estate bless you with one. You do one mailer, you spend $3,000, and you get a listing. And you get $9,000 check. Do it again. Go ahead, I dare you. Hell, why not spend $6,000 and get 2 listings? That gets you $18,000. Now that we're on that one, why not just spend $20,000 and get 60 listings? And you got it. If it works, go for it. By all means, I'm begging you, spend money on these things, but make sure you're doing it right because there's so many charlatans and very, very good. They're very good at what they do. Online marketers, that's what they do. And as real estate agents, we are so eager to find the easy way, the magic pill, the silver bullet, that thing that makes you get listings. Give me that one brochure, that one mailer, that one ad, that one source on the internet. I want to do a video that goes viral. Everybody's looking for that thing. It's a shooting star, man. It's a unicorn. It's not there. It's an anomaly. The reality, at least my reality, is it doesn't happen like that. Maybe you get lucky. If you get lucky, then hurry up and do it and get lucky again. But if you don't get lucky the first time, you might not get lucky the second time. And it might take you hundreds of times to get lucky, and that's okay. If you have your expectations in the right place and you're doing the work, you can make your own luck. You will succeed if you remain persistent and consistent. So with these last 2 generations of marketing, okay, snail mail, email, and digital marketing. Snail mail, email, and messenger, even texting. Texting is the same as email. Just because it's on a phone doesn't mean it's not a message out. They don't have to respond to that. These are non-responsive. When it requires a call to action that is optional, it is passive. You understand? When your marketing requires a call to action and the action is optional, it is passive. Now, if you take these 2 right here, the final 2 frontiers for the next generation, because when all of these 3 are exhausted, you don't know where they're at, and they cost money, and you don't have enough money, and you don't know what to do, and everything's like, oh man, it's just not working. I have so many people who are like, James, I fell for one of those Facebook posts that says, attention real estate agents, are you interested in getting 10 listing leads in 30 days? DM me. Put your email in the comments. Attention real estate agents. Here is an ad that I used that got me 10 closings in 30 days. Would you like to know what it is? DM me. problem with that is that they're selling you an anomaly. If it works, please do me a favor, tell me about it. I'll know about it. My people are honest. They're like, yeah, it worked for me. But it's hard to predict where that $1,000 can go because there's no guarantee. So you're in this place where you have to look objectively and say, is this an ad? Or is this something I can actually do? And it's the difference between vitamins to medicines to lose weight or exercises to lose weight. So for example, remember the shake weights? Those work. You just got to do it. Every exercise works. You just have to do it. Every diet works. You just got to do it. Every real estate sales trainer and coach who says do this and you'll succeed, it works. You just got to do it. But when it doesn't work because it doesn't work for you, now you're in a place where money's tight and you got to take action. That's how I got into door knocking. I've been doing this since '93. And when the market was at the rock bottom, and I had more month at the end of the money, I was making $20,000 a month and losing $21,000 a month because REOs and being a short sale king, it was not all it's cracked up to be. You don't ever want to be an REO king. There was no kingdom. It was horrible. Doing foreclosures was. I hope that market never comes back. Hundreds of REOs, BPOs. I was a king. I was a king of the turds. It sucked. So my friends, what do? You got to look at it and say, will this work for me in any market, anywhere, anytime? And when you look at something passive, when there's something that is in such great abundance, and everyone's trying to sell it, but nobody really proves to you that they've done it. But it seems to be the popular option because it's the easy way. Sometimes the hard road is the only road. So if you want to take action, the last two frontiers, these are all passive, these two are active. You're going to have to go out, and there's only two ways to have a marketing plan that is not. You want a marketing plan that has a call to action, that the action is unavoidable. Does this make sense? That the call to action and that action is unavoidable. You send out a mailer and it says, call me for a free CMA. They can forget it. You send out a Facebook ad and they click, and then you say, ooh, I got something, and then you say, thank you very much for your inquiries, is there anything I can do? And they ignore it. But you get a number, right? Or you look up their number. You call them within 60 seconds because they gave you a number and they don't answer. It goes to voicemail. And then it goes to voicemail again. And then it goes to voicemail again. And by the third or fourth time, they've already got your number and they've blocked it because they don't want to be bothered. They didn't realize that Facebook gave them your phone number. They were only curious about that house because they think it was their ex-wife's, and they wanted to see if the dog kennel was still set up. Who knows with it? Man, I'm telling you, the online is too easy for people to just putter around there. So we go back to the basics. Back to the basics. Will it work for you in your market? I tell you what, you pick me up and drop me off in your market, I will door knock and I will cold call anywhere, period. If you want business right now, pick up the phone. If you want a listing right now, go knock on the doors. Face to face and on the phone are the only two methods in marketing where a call to action, that action is non-negotiable. You go to the door and they open the door, they got no choice. Well, they can shut the door. That's not going to happen. You send a mailer, you can go in the trash. You knock on the door, you can't go in the trash. So when you get them in front of you and you say, hi, my name's Agent with Company, I was wondering if you're thinking of selling your house. They have to answer you. No, they don't have to answer. They can close the door and guess what? That's an answer. No, you got your answer. But when you do enough of these and you speak to enough people, you go to enough doors and you meet enough people, you will gain an insider's track to knowledge of homes that are coming up on the market. Homeowners begin to start recognizing you as the local real estate agent. You will start getting people who know you. So it's a 2-for-1. You pick up the phones are a little bit less effective. The phones they're dying. I'll tell you when cold calling is dead. It's not dead. But if you hear a marketing scheme that says cold calling is dead, run the opposite direction. It's not dead. It's just harder. If you ever hear any guru or any sales trainer say door knocking is a waste of time, go the other direction. They're trying to sell you something else. And to do Facebook marketing, you don't just put an ad in Facebook. You gotta have some really good stuff. You gotta have some good technology behind it. Really good technology. Right? So you think, what? I'm gonna run an ad on Facebook. Okay, let's talk about running an ad on Facebook. Do you got a listing? No. Okay, so you're gonna advertise what? Open houses for the weekend? Because that's really the only way that you can advertise something that people want. The internet wants what? 10 ways to polish your dishes? I don't think that's gonna get much. I know Facebook advertising is far more effective when you're advertising a home. So what are you going to advertise? You're going to put an ad in the paper that says what? I'm trying to wrap my head around, find out what your home is worth. That's what you're going to advertise on Facebook? Free market analysis? Please don't think that you're going to advertise your face. Hi, call me for a free market evaluation. That's not going to do anything. Unless you're a local celebrity and people know you, then maybe people will be like, oh, I was thinking about selling. You know what I mean? But what kind of ad? We're going old school. Wanted ugly houses. I'm thinking about ads that you would place in the newspaper. Going old school. Interested in selling your house? Call me for a free market out. You really think? Those things actually, they worked very well in 2007, because the internet it was almost as if it's almost as if everybody forgot that a free CMA meant you're gonna get an agent to call you every single day. Because we would do that, right? We would put that in the newspaper, or we would put that on a mailer that went out to their houses. Call me for a free market analysis, no cost or obligation. Right? Call me for a market analysis. And then the public, they thought for some reason that because it was on the internet, it didn't mean the same thing. And so we would get people who would be like, oh, well, I'm actually interested in the value of my house. But understand one thing. I would say that I'm gonna throw this out. Maybe you guys have a different answer. I would say that 50 I would say 50% of homeowners who are curious about the value of their house have no interest in selling. So that means that 50% of, say, Zillow's traffic is garbage because people go there to see their house value, but it doesn't mean that they're planning on selling. It just means that they're curious about the value. Like people check stocks. You can sell your stock? No. I'm just curious about the value. They want to know their equity. You know, they check this stuff. And I know this because I have a database right now of, like I said, probably it's got to be at least 300 people that you see me when I go to the door. Hi, my name is Adrian Company. I was just wondering if you had any interest in selling your house. Okay, well, thank you. If you do have any interest, let's talk. Maybe later I can help. Here's your email address. It's right. So you see me get email addresses of homeowners who are interested in selling, and then they kind of fade out, but they're still interested, and I have their email address, and so I'm able to obtain an email address and communicate with them on maybe finding out the value of their house, should they ever consider, maybe later down the road you reconsider. Yeah, maybe, okay, great, I'll send you out some information, we'll keep in touch. Those people are in a database, in a software that I use, that will tell me that they're logging in. And when they log in, I know they've checked in, and they're checking the value. So I've got off the top of my head at least 15 people. I can name their names, I see them so much, because I check that software program every day to see who's been checking the values, who's been checking their values. And there are some people in there that check values every day. And my wife's an agent too, and she checks that system. And she'll be like, such and such is checking their values, such and such is checking their values. So much so that I had to create a grouping inside of Mojo that I flagged them as a checker, meaning that they just check, that they're just lookers, that they kick the tires all the time, but they're never buying. I mean, I'm sure they will, but for me to jump up and down or jump up and get a slam package in their hands immediately, that's stupid, because they're not interested. They're just kicking the tires, you know. So obviously, if somebody is walking into a car dealership looking at cars, they're probably buying a car. I mean, I don't know. I've never worked for a car dealership, but how many people walk onto a car lot to buy a car don't buy a car? And then how many people walking onto a car lot say they want it, and then when they run their credit, they can't afford it? Same thing with real estate. How many people come into an open house, say they want it, and then they can't afford it? How many people come into an open house, say they wish they could have it? There was a thing that was done on they qualified, and it was more of them daydreaming while they were in college when they should have been. Yes, my friends, we are living in some strange times. I can only ask that you understand and interpret the sign of the times. And the sign of the times says, know the difference between what works and what doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, stop doing it. I'm trying myself to survive, but so long as we are looking for the easy way, there will be a sucker born every minute. There'll be a sucker brought into this business every minute who will pay for the easy way. And I'm telling you, I found the easy way. I've discovered it. It's easy. All you got to do is knock on 100 doors a day. That's easy, right? It's not too bad. I mean, it's easier than being someone who works for septic tank. You know, someone who cleans septic tanks has got to suck. It's got to suck shit, literally. Given the alternative, given the choice, I will take me door knocking 100 doors a day over working as a, I don't even know what else I do. I really don't know what else I do. I suppose if the industry went totally belly up, I'd be a, I don't know. I think I'd work for a telemarketing company. It would have to be in sales because that's all I know. I would have to be in an industry where I can, with tenacity, make money. You know, there was a time back in the early 90s where I worked for a telemarketing company part-time as I was, in real estate, but I was just screwing around in the real estate business. I wasn't putting in the time. And so I had to get a part-time job as a telemarketer. I did pretty good, but it required me not to take a lunch break. And I did it for, a good spell, but I did very well and I was top in the telemarketing groups. Because I worked my way through it. Ladies and gentlemen, don't give yourself the option to fail just because you don't understand marketing, just because you don't understand prospecting. The next generation, this upcoming marketplace, and the direction of our industry is going to require a lot more outbound effort. It's going to require a lot more tenacity. It's going to require a lot more than you think. Will you do it? Can you do it? I beg you to do it. I'm encouraging you. Go out, knock on the doors, pick up the phones, understand that you've still got to do these three. I still do mailers, I still do farming, and I still do Facebook advertising. I text people, I email people, I do all of these. I don't pay Zillow at all. They are not on the back of my bank statements. I'm not paying the enemy. That's the only thing I don't negotiate. They don't need my money, and I don't need their inquiries. I can get my own leads. Right? I just don't need it. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to learn how to effectively market for the next generation, if you want to learn how to go out and find leads, if you want to learn how to market for the next disruption, you've got to learn how to sell. You've got to learn how to pick up the phone. You've got to learn how to door knock. Because once snail mail's too expensive, once email open rates are totally shot, and now you have text messaging and digital is almost, when these three are kind of hard to pinpoint, where you can't quite figure out what's good, what's bad, who's where to do it. Everybody's selling you all these different, no, Craigslist is back, no, Twitter's back, no, Instagram's better, no, let's do Snapchat. When all of these different sources are coming at you and you don't know where, because they don't know where, because the only people who say they know where, if they're not real estate agents, the number one agents in the area are probably telling you to do this, but by the time you hear about it, it's too late. It's probably changed shape. That's the thing too, is that if you're not ahead of the curve, by the time you hear about it, it's probably too late. You know, the people who are doing Craigslist ads, by the time I was on that Craigslist, because I pay attention way ahead of the curve, and I'm forward thinking. But by the time you realize that door knocking is the best, it'll probably be too late. It'll probably be too late because people will have mastered it. Door knocking, in my opinion, that's why you see me do it so much. Door knocking is the final frontier of all of these marketing methods. These passive ones and the telephone being on life support, it's going to end up being door-to-door solicitation. So why not learn how to do this? Why not just go out and start working towards the basics? Don't be afraid to pick up the phones. Definitely don't be afraid to hit the doors. Join me. So in about 20 or 30 minutes, I'm going to go inside right now, give my kid a hug and a kiss. In about 20 or 30 minutes, you go to this YouTube channel, and I will be knocking on doors, and I will be generating leads, and you guys can watch. I bring you with me so that you understand how hard it is and how easy it is. I do it to show you it's possible. I do it to hold myself accountable, but I want to show you as I'm getting new leads, as someone says yes, and then I put you on mute because I mute this thing. It's not on Facebook. It has to be on YouTube.